So we did beast mode fragrances for women. Fellas, you're up next. Come back and we'll talk about some fragrances that'll just command people's attention. But you gotta come back. Come back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video of Smell Good with Jenna. I'm, of course, Jenna. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know what you gotta do. Like, comment, follow, and subscribe. And let's get right into it. As I mentioned in the intro, I had my videos for women. There were some fragrances that are mask leaning as well if you watch that. So, you know, I still showed some love there, but I find these particular fragrances that I'm gonna discuss in this video are extremely mask leaning, and they're potent and they grab people's attention. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first up, we have one of my favorites from Tom Ford, Ombrè Leather. This is a fragrance. When I first smelled this a few years ago, I knew this was a man. This is a man that just gets everyone's attention. He's a badass. He wears his leather. He just knows he's the ish. I'll never... Actually, this happened pretty recently. A couple of weeks ago, I went to Mercedes to get my car serviced, and I was waiting for my car to be delivered to me. There was a couple also waiting for their car to be finished servicing, and I smelled that distinctive smell of Ombrè Leather, and I had to ask him, the guy, I'm like, "You wearing Ombrè Leather?" And he was impressed because, you know, your girl knew the fragrance right off the bat. And I'm not good at knowing what someone's wearing, right? Because there's dupes and things that smell similar. But needless to say, that smell was extremely distinctive, and I was right. And that thing was lingering in that area that we were in. You couldn't miss it. So this is definitely a beast fragrance. And I know Tom Ford gets a lot of heat, especially nowadays, because I think just because the company was sold and everything like that, that the longevity and the reformulation with its fragrances is non-existent. But Ombrè Leather, in my opinion, is a beast. And not only is it a beast, but it smells so damn good. So if you haven't already, go ahead and pick up or check out Tom Ford's Ombrè Leather. Next up, we have, this is not one of my favorites, I'll be perfectly honest with you, but with that said, it's an extremely popular fragrance, and I figured I should mention it and my experience with it. But I'm talking about Dior's Elixir. Listen, it's not a bad fragrance. I gotta set the record straight. I don't hate I'm sorry, I said Dior Elixir, Dior Sauvage Elixir. I don't hate Sauvage. I just think I'm just not the biggest fan when it comes to those blue shower gel type of scents. But this one, I'll never forget. I was going into Macys to pick up a fragrance I had bought on sale, whatever. And I went to go pick it up. And then as I'm walking through, and the different people, the sales rep were trying to have me smell the fragrances. One of them were at the Dior counter, handed me Sauvage Elixir. When I tell you, my face was literally like, whoa. It took me aback. It's a strong fragrance. I got a sample of it when I wound up buying Vanilla Diorama, and the sales rep at Bloomingdale's was super sweet. She gave me all these different samples, even of Sauvage. So that's why I'm able to test it out. But it's a really strong fragrance. If you have Lattafa's, if you want something a little bit cheaper, Lattafa has a fragrance that's similar to it, Assad, which I actually like that for whatever reason, because it's supposed to be a dupe of that. But needless to say, if you're a Sauvage person and you want that fragrance that packs a punch, the Elixir version is the one you gotta go with. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out Sauvage Elixir from Dior. Next up, we have one of my absolute favorites. I am a Paul Gaultier fangirl, specifically the male versions, the male lines and everything like that. love, love, love. I'm talking about Paul Gaultier Male Elixir. This is beautiful, beautiful, beautiful fragrance. There's a scent memory with this for me for Valentine's Day. This is a beast. God, it's the honey in here. I forget some of the notes, but it's just gorgeous. It's a beast. You spray enough, they are gonna smell you, and it's a designer. Like sometimes, we're such niche snobs and have to have niche fragrances, but there's so many good designer fragrances out there that'll get the job done, and Male Elixir is one of them ones. People might find it overhyped. I think it's overhyped for a reason. So, oh gosh. Do yourself a favor and check out Paul Gaultier's Male Elixir. Next up, we have from BDK, Gris Charnel Extrait. Now, I know I've read some people find that it's not, the longevity isn't that great. I don't know. In my opinion, I think it is. Gris Charnel is one of my favorite fragrances. So, needless to say, I was interested in the Extrait version. And the only reason why I didn't personally pick it up is because I find it smells literally exactly the same. I don't find that there's too much of a difference between the original and the Extrait version. So that's why I don't own it. But I think for beast mode fragrances that we're discussing, it's definitely something one should pick up. It's a beautiful fig tea type of note. I believe there's vanilla in it as well in the dry down. I could be wrong. Sandalwood. It's just super, super, super good, and it's super long lasting. You spray enough, people are gonna smell you with this one. So, if you haven't already, go ahead and check out BDK's Gris Charnel Extrait. Next up, we have from Macys Red Tobacco. Oh, this smells so good, but man, when I tell you this is a beast, I think this is probably the most beastly fragrance on this list. And the fact that Macys had the audacity to come out with an intense version is crazy. But this one, you spray enough sprays, you will start an explosion. I'm telling you, but it's super, super good. I think it's a unique, smoky, tobacco, spicy type of fragrance. If you don't, if those are a lot of the fragrances you have in your collection, I think this is something that'll be pretty unique. Yeah, they'll literally, you spray enough of this, they'll smell you, not in another state, but in another country. But it's super, super good. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out Macys Red Tobacco. Next up, we have from Maison Francis Kurkdjian. We have, if I can get it out, Oud Satin Mood. Now, hear me out, fellas, because I know this might be a little feminine leaning, and I get it because of the rose note in it in here, but I think this smells beautiful. Let me tell you something. This took a minute for me to actually come on board with. I couldn't understand why people were always raving about the Oud line, but as my nose, I guess, started to mature a little bit more, I understood the beauty of the fragrance. It packs a punch, but it's so, so beautiful. And I think not only does it smell really good on women, but it smells really, really good on a man. So don't knock it, since it's like a rose type of scent. It's really, really, really good, and it's complex. That Oud packs a punch, so you'll knock someone out with too many sprays, but again, enough sprays, it'll do justice. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out Maison Francis Kurkdjian Oud Satin Mood. Next up, we have from Viktor & Rolf Spice Bomb Extreme. I know there's a gazillion and one flankers, but I'm a big fan of the line. There's a theme with these fragrances that I'm choosing. This one has cinnamon, tobacco, vanilla. I think this is super sexy. I know there's been complaints about the reformulation of the fragrance, but I still think it's a pretty beastly fragrance. You spray enough and you're close to someone in close proximity, you can choke them out with it. So definitely this is a fragrance that you want to do enough sprays, but I think it's sexy, sweet, beautiful. Huge, huge, huge fan. So if you haven't already, go ahead and check out Victor & Rolf's Spice Bomb Extreme. Last and certainly not least, next up on my list, we have Kilian's Angel Share. I mentioned this in my Women's Beast Mode fragrance video, that this is interchangeable with the fragrance I mentioned over there, Lattafa's Camera. So I decided to bring this over here for you guys. But what can be said about Angel Share? You don't really have a collection if you don't have Angel Share in your fragrance. This is potent, this is boozy, this is the cinnamon in here. It just smells like a warm apple pie. Is what the holidays are all about. It's a compliment getter. There's a reason why this is so popular. But too many sprays, I don't think you'll be able to really enjoy it, and others won't enjoy it. I learned that lesson when I wore it last year. I didn't really get to take it in because I sprayed so many sprays. So definitely dial it back when it comes to Angel Share. And that's my video. Thank you so much for stopping by. You know what you gotta do. Like, comment, follow, and subscribe. Fellas, let me know. I know there's a gazillion fragrances I could have mentioned. Let me know what you guys rock that's an absolute beast. And always remember, the best compliment one can get is that you smell so good.